Oh. I'm getting very Porter Robinson vibes from this. Porter Robinson and Madian. Hey guys, Dragmuse here. So it's been a minute, but now I got a video piece of equipment. I am starting this video off amazingly. So with that, though, I have now a webcam that I can now use instead of using this thing, my little Canon that I've been using that I have to wait for hours to get stuff transferred over from the internet. Today's video, I'm going to be getting started with something I want to do possibly once a week, and that is my Spotify Discover Weekly. And so what I'm wanting to try and start doing, along with showing a bit of the type of music that I listen to and how I make my music and why I like what I do and or why I like certain songs. It's just mainly to talk about music. It's to do what I enjoy doing almost all the time in my life, which is always anything music. And so, our first song that we have is always, which is the Anamanaguchi remix. That is an interesting name, Anamanaguchi. That sounds like a tongue twister in some weird way. Anamanaguchi, Anamanaguchi, Anamanaguchi. Anamanaguchi, Anamanaguchi. Oh, Anamanaguchi, Anamanaguchi. And this is made by Meishi Smile, LLLL, U Pistol, Calendula, and Anamanaguchi. The layout that I would like to try and get with this video is I would like to describe like what I feel like it is in terms of like either a style or who I think it like reminds me of like other artists, or just comparative things, just things I think it sounds really cool in what it's doing, or maybe things that are unique, just in general, what is it doing that I enjoy and or maybe I dislike. So as I've already said, and you can see right here, it's going to be always by Anamanaguchi and also by Meishi Smile, LLLL, U Pistol, Calendula, and Anamanaguchi. And so let's take a little bit of a listen. Oh. I'm getting very Porter Robinson vibes from this. Porter Robinson and Madian. This is very ethereal. I love the amount of reverb there is going on. This is a really good song. I really like this. Alrighty, that's a good drop. This song vibes really well. I was getting a lot of Porter Robinson vibes and a bit of Madian. There's some Madian level of like Madian and Porter like Shelter vibes here and there, especially with the drop. The drop is very, it kind of just happens. It's very just silent with one thing going on and just straight into it with everything being going, like nothing being pulled back. It just gets straight to the point and it keeps on riding that train. And I honestly love that music. I like songs that can build up to it, but songs that can honestly take micro moments of each individual idea building up to the whole climax section and keeping that strong suit throughout the whole end to the end where it's just then peters out to this one simple line. I like that way more than just the small buildup of one thing, and then up, instead of just where it's just like one continuous thing and then you add a little bit more until it eventually it's just to the climax. I don't like that as much as I like things having their own individual lines. Not together, but separate from everything, and then it's the one major line, usually a vocal line like it is done in every other song like this. The EDMs, centric of like kawaii feature bass, but also with like the fact that this is a more remix of an original song, but that they went with more of a reverb stylized rendition of this song. As I smack my mic again. It's extremely catchy. It's got a, like I already said, I really like the drop. There's like one moment I don't like about it, and it like turns where it sounds like it's video game music for a second, but then the vocals come back in like for, it's like, yeah, it's like 8 beats where it's like, sounds like video game, like the style is completely different, but then the voice line comes back in and it's like, oh, okay, that's fine. Which I like the fact that it's like, it takes you out of that moment for like, a little bit and then it puts you back in it, and I like that a lot, along with also one of my favorite things when it comes to a lot of this style of music is the amount of intricacies with little things that you can put in. And this can be explained with a lot of different electronic music in today's standards, with anything belonging to that kawaii future bass, or just future bass, or city pop music in general, which is like, it's taking a lot of the kawaii future bass, lo-fi, and city pop music and smashing them all together. So it would be like taking a regular orchestral setting, so like you have strings, you have woodwinds, and you have brass, and then you have the percussion all the way in the back. It's like taking extra instruments that are inside of those families, and then adding a whole twist to it, for like a bari saxophone to then be playing along with like a contrabass saxophone. Like contrabass saxophone, it's a very not frequent instrument used in many settings. Same with like a contrabass trumpet, which is just, it looks like a massive flugelhorn, or if anything, it looks like a marching euphonium. But those things exist for trumpet as well. So yeah, I like to just call those things little extra sprinkles that you put in your music. You know, you have your standard beat, you have your standard melody, you have your counter melody. Sometimes if you want to have a counter melody, you have your harmony, you have your bass line, and you have all the little extra bits and pieces that you do between the spacing of like an ABA or ABBA format, if you don't know music that well. I'm not the one to go to when it comes to understanding ABBA, which is just like how often it reverts back to a certain format that it's made. So like, think of this is a format, this is a different format, same format again, maybe a little bit twisted a little bit, and then it goes back to the original format that was back here, but then again it twists it like a Tootsie Pop. Think of it like a Tootsie Pop or whatnot, where it's like, okay, the paper got a little bit wrinkled, so now it's like this instead of like this. A little bit of variation, but it sounds exactly the same as the beginning one, or the ones that you were interjected in the middle, where they just have a slight variation. And so it's amazing how well this part this whole song vibes. And so now to the verdict. Do I favorite it or do I toss it? And this one's gonna be a definite favorite. I really like this song. I was not expecting this song at all, and I really like it. It's really nice. And so yeah, I favorite this one. So on to the next song. Alrighty, so the next song that I have is All I Am by Rabbit Zen and Low Off. Ooh. Ah, I love it. I really like it. Alrighty, so that's the end of All I Am. Number one, any song that starts off with a very smooth vibe of like neo soul, with jazz chords and whatnot, that is just a straight neo soul jazz vibe. Love it. And I love the dark timbre of a piano almost all the time. That's why I also play piano myself. In neo soul, from my understanding, I haven't done any like actual studying with neo soul, but in my opinion, when it comes to neo soul, the two main things are, does it vibe well, and is it simplistic? If you overcomplicate it, it can become something else. I don't know particularly off the top of my head what it would be called, but if you overcomplicate neo soul, it turns into something else, in my opinion. And so simplicity but vibe is very much the most important two parts when it comes to making neo soul jazz. And it's very cool with how much they took just the piano and the beat and harmony and all of that, and just simplified it to as much as they needed to, and then made the vocalist be insanely flexible with everything to it, to where it was just straight thick chords to be able to go everything between top and bottom with it. Absolutely love it. There's actually, during the drop, I thought I was listening to like a Sean Wasabi song for like Marble Soda. Like, oh my goodness, I love that part. Like, that was really cool. Also, there's a moment where the vocalist does like a very clean, I don't know what it's called in the vocal world, but it's pitch bending. Does a pitch bend up and then straight back down into the new key. That is something I love. I love pitch bending to different keys, along with also being able to just end up going back into the key. It's really cool that they did that, along with just like how flexible the vocalist is with their timbre and their style with the music itself. Now, there's a lot of effects going on in this song, like a lot of effects, and there's a lot of like hand, like manually doing things throughout the whole song from whoever it is that is the audio engineer of doing this song, which they did a fantastic job. There's an effect that they do with the vocalist's voice at around like the 3-minute and 30-second point. They just turn it into like a guitar riff. The amount of vocal construction that the audio engineer took on this project, along with the massive amount of like effects and how it goes well with the song, but also doesn't overpower the vocalist's like original voice and their flexibility and timbre, it's just amazing. In fact, it becomes like even more of a strength, because like that's something that is becoming more of an art form now within audio engineering, is not overusing too many effects or like pitch modifiers, but instead using that to empower the vocalist and or the performer who is doing the main melody. It is amazing how that is now becoming more the normality of things, as I wagulate my pencil in front of the camera because it accentuates my point. And so with All I Am I gonna toss this or am I gonna favorite it? To be honest, I would definitely favorite this song. It's really good. I enjoyed this quite a bit with how much it's able to just do with its vocals and just how much I love neo soul. It's a very big favorite of mine, and it's something that I'm actually in my own trumpet's like right down there, that I am actually trying to practice and get better with for trumpet, and hopefully one day I can be able to make some more video content doing that. But yeah, no, this song is really good, and I'm glad I got to listen to it. And so yeah, on to the next song. And so with that, let's go to the next song. I cried during a Miyazaki film. If y'all have not seen a Miyazaki film, please do. As you already know, the next song that we have in line is I Cried During a Miyazaki Film Once. Bless, that name is something. And then it's made by 1OK. Reminds me a bit of like a Snail House with the vocals. Maybe a bit of like Moe Shop. So I got a little bit of like two different like feelings from that. A little bit of Snail House and a little bit of Moe Shop. But this was this type of style of music is what I would call as like, I would call this emotional representation, in the sense that this is representing Miyazaki's films in general and how they can be able to produce a level of emotion for many people. And I like this music a lot, that are meant to be emotional representations of certain other art forms. And there's a lot of this throughout the whole thing with like the vocalist, but also just the amount of panning that they have done throughout the whole song with the voices doing different things. And I love that, especially around the halfway point, where the artist decides to actually have like a lot of like words being played on both sides of the headphones to accent the amount of like different people's thoughts when it comes to this, or just the flurry of thoughts you'll have in your head when you are watching these movies, along with adding some other characteristic things when it comes to like emotional moments in songs when it comes to electronic music, and that is white noise or tearing. So there's a lot of moments throughout the song where, especially near like the after the halfway point of the song, where you'll hear the white noise cut in out during the vocalist, which is usually a moment in most music representing an extreme reaction and usually in a very sad or very emotionally powerful moment, but usually, as I said before, in a very sad or depressing characteristic format that's being presented. And that's usually how sometimes these movies can make people feel, is it very sad because either the movie's ending or just the amount of artwork that is into this, with either the music, the art design, the artist's work, the animation quality, that just so many different things. Even the story itself can be very moving. A lot of people love Spirited Away for the amount of colors it uses and the just the amount of world building it's able to do, but also along with just the simplicity of its soundtrack and or the characters themselves. This is a very good song. I really like emotional representation. It's a really good format. Do I favorite it or do I toss it? Now, this song is really good, but on my own time, the thing with like emotional representation works is that sometimes they do a really good job representing it, but it's not something you would listen to all the time. It would be something that you would listen to with a bunch of other people who haven't heard this song before. Not because it's bad or anything, but it's more of just like, hey, this is an emotion that I kind of can be able to relate with this song that is also an emotional representation of of these movies from this specific artist. Let's all take a listen to it. But for me, I don't really go out and listen to a lot of emotional representation works. It's just kind of something that I keep on the side to listen to and refresh again. But for the most part, I don't listen to it all the time. So I'll have to say that I'll have to toss this. But really good song. Really, really good song. Sing for a while. And so for our last song, we have Stay for a While, Pure 100% Dorothy. And so for our last song, we have Stay for a While by Pure 100% and Dorothy. I guess that's how you say it. Dorothy. I think I've heard this song before. I love this song. I actually know this song. I don't know why it's in my Discover Weekly when I've known this song for a while. This song is something that I really like trying to analyze a lot whenever I come across it. It is, I don't really, again, Sean Wasabi is probably the closest I can ever think when it comes to this style of music, where it's just, there's so many things of like 40 to 60 like sound effects happening at once that get interjected between each little like segments that they make. There's like so many variations of this same main track that gets reiterated throughout the whole thing, but because of all these like other 20 effects that he adds, it makes an entire different section for it, and I absolutely love it. The one thing that I don't like about this song ever when it comes to it is the aggressive kick. I never like it in the beginning. Only time I ever feel like I enjoy it is when it's throughout, like when there's more things happening. But when it's just like a pure bliss moment of like just the vocalist and then like the chimes, and it's just like it just kind of gets a bit too aggressive for this song. I think it should have gone with like maybe like a boom after effect, and so like you hear the kick, but the actual like kick part, the actual front of the kick is like a delayed, so it actually sounds like it's a further thing. So like probably figuring out how to be able to, as an engineer, figure out how to make to where the kick sound is like heard, but the major part is like delayed to hell, so then it's like this big after effect. So then you create a song that sounds like, especially since it's the softer moments, it sounds like there's a big arcing room, but that kick is just so straight to the point that it kind of kills the rest of whatever's being made. While if I think if the artist took a little bit of time to take that front kick part out and like delay that, and make it like reverbed outward before. So basically, if you had the kick like this, so this is the kick sound font, you know, you have the very small segment right here of where the actual kick happens. If they just like split that part and then just kind of made that into its own like section in like FL Studio, I would assume they use FL Studio, since that's what most EDM artists use, and not like maybe some use Ableton. I don't know. I know in FL Studio this is what you would do. You would just split it up, create it in a new channel, and then you would put it in a new in the channel rack. You would put it in a new channel rack, and then you would just make its own custom sound effects. So then it's like it does its own kick, but it's more reverbed side. So then you make this big circling sound around it during the soft moments. So then it's not like straight to the point, to where then you confine it into this thing when there's like little singing softness here, and then like all these chimes and whatnot, and then you got big old gong kick coming through. It kind of kills the mood for me. Other than that though, I love the amount of effects. I love the amount of like work that goes into this song for just adding so many variations to so many things, with like reiterating things but then changing the whole instrument of what it is and whatnot. The drop is extremely clean. Again, this whole song is amazing. I really don't like the kick though. I don't know why the kick bothers me so much. It's an amazing song. It's just that the kick is just like, it lives rent free in my brain. Whenever I listen to this song, it's like, oh, I love it. Kick, 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 kick. And it's like, oh, I don't like that kick. And so, yeah, but really good song. So yeah, now on to the next question. Do I favorite it or do I toss it? Honestly, I hear this song so often because it's just so instantly played by so many other people, and because it's loved by so many people, and I have it like playing in so many different tracks that you can't see on my Spotify. But this song, I'm not gonna really favorite, just because it spawns so much inside of my like different music categories, just because of how many different styles it could be considered under. And so I'll just say that I'll toss it, just because I analyze this song so much. I don't really listen to this song just for fun. I use this song more as an analytical prospect for whenever I make my own music. So yeah, so I will not favorite this song, but it's a really good song. Other than that kick, I can't deal with that kick. Again, wagulate the pencil to accentuate my point. And so yeah,